Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Today I have a new album from the punk rock band NOFX. Before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. I will probably keep this review a little shorter than usual because I want to get out 2 videos this morning. NOFX is a punk rock band. They've been around a long time. They formed in 1983 and they have a total of 14 studio albums. So they have always been an underground band in the punk rock scene. They had like a limited mainstream success in the mid-90s. This was during a time when punk rock was making a comeback. If any of you remember that time, bands like Green Day and The Offspring were very big in the mid-90s. So they had an album that came out called Punk in Drublic that had moderate success. So the band consists of Fat Mike on lead vocals and bass, Eric Melvin on rhythm guitar, and Eric Sandlin on drums. So in my personal opinion, this band reminded me of like a heavier version of the band Blink-182. I think it's just because of the vocal style reminded me of that. And I remember that's just my impression of the band. I'm not really an expert on punk rock, and I do like the band. You know, what I heard so far was good. Now this band, they have like a lot of like political topics, like mostly like left-wing issues in their lyrics, and it's pretty cool. They're a well-known punk band. So we're talking about single album. This one just came out. It has 10 tracks and a runtime of 36 minutes. So I'm just going to go over 6 out of the 10 tracks on the album, just to keep this video pretty short. The album opens with The Big Drag. So this is a long song at 6 minutes. Now, I say long in like punk rock terms because most of the other songs are like 2 to 4 minutes. The song has a guitar riff and a bass line that just kind of like goes out and builds throughout the song. There's not like a lot of like structure in terms of like chorus, verse, and things like that. This is probably more of like the most experimental song on the album. You even hear like some piano in the background like halfway through the song. The song lyrics are uplifting and they talk about living life to the fullest. So the second song I want to talk about is Fish in a Gun Barrel, and this is their reggae song. Now, I know the proper term for this is probably, we call it like ska punk, but you know, it just sounds reggae to me. I like the reggae keyboards in the background. The guitars, they remind me of like the band 311 from the late 90s. But the lyrics, they talk about mass shootings and gun violence. And they talk about the topic of gun control, which is always a very controversial topic. Next is Linoleum. I don't know how to pronounce that, but so it's apparently like a parody cover of like one of their own songs. Now I'm not too familiar with the original song. The original song is called Linoleum from one of their previous albums. So supposedly that song has been covered many times by other bands. So they're kind of like making fun of like the other bands that are covering that song or something like that. But as far as the song itself, it's more of a traditional punk. It's a traditional like NOFX song. The next one I want to talk about is My Bro, Can't Survive Cancer. Now this has the most like interesting story behind it. It's basically a traditional punk rock song, but they're talking about a person who contacted the band and he said he had like this aggressive form of brain cancer. So the band contacts him and they take him out to party and they do like a lot of like cocaine and things like that. And this person like doesn't want to do drugs. He never did drugs, but they convince him to try a few lines because, you know, they say, hey, you're sick, you're going to die. You might as well just go all out. And in the end, they found out that this person was lying and he is like well known in the music world. He contacts a lot of bands and he like tells them this big lie about how he's dying and he just wants to meet bands. Supposedly it's a true story, and I think the band is going to like follow up on their next album with a song about that. So the next song I want to talk about is Grieve Soto. It's just basically a straightforward punk rock song about Steve Soto from the Adolescents who passed away. So this is just a tribute to him. And the last one I want to talk about is Doors and Fours. I like this one a lot because it has like this bluegrass country intro. And the main riff itself reminds me of a riff of like from the band The Offspring, that type of like pop punk. But the song is probably like the darkest song on the album. They're talking about Los Angeles in the 1980s and the drugs and people overdosing and things like that. So in conclusion, it's a fun album. I think if you're not a big punk rock fan and you don't know the band's earlier work, you'd probably enjoy it if you gave it a few listens. I think this album came out on Friday and I was able to listen to it 3 or 4 times by now. So, it had a lot of variety. It kept me interested. It's not just like straightforward punk rock. Sometimes punk rock can be kind of like repetitive and just the same chords and the fast tempos and things like that. But the song styles did change a lot. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to give it a score of an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think of this album? So that is it. Like I said, comment below, like, subscribe. Coming up, my Alice Cooper review should be at the end of this week. So I finally got the confirmation that my CD is coming. I might do a couple more new releases. There are a few other metal bands that I don't know, but I've seen other channels review. So I'm going to listen to them again a few more times just to see if I'm going to do those. I may do a follow-up on my favorite year in metal, which was 1989. A few more albums. I'll do that stuff midweek. And other than that, thanks for watching. Check out my other videos. These are the other new releases that I did recently. They will be right there and right there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.